In 1993, a gentleman who felt he'd been wrongly convicted and jailed for a criminal offence decided to climb the Channel 9 transmission tower here in Brisbane at Mount Cootha. And unfortunately, he did that on a Friday afternoon, and he didn't have a mobile phone with him, so he couldn't draw anybody's attention to the fact that he had climbed the Channel 9 transmission tower. So it wasn't until Monday morning that somebody spotted him. So by this time, he had some provisional arrangements. He had a bit of water and he had a bucket and had a few little niceties. But by day 4, when we started the negotiation process, he was kind of hydrated. He was quite sunburnt, and I think he wasn't quite as comfortable perched up on the transmission tower as he was hoping for. So after some negotiation, we identified that he was happy to speak to the Attorney General at the time to talk about the miscarriage of justice that he perceived with respect to his conviction and jail time. And ultimately, my resolution key with him was to tell him that I'd have an ice cold can of Coke waiting for him when he came down. So he did. He surrendered. He got his can of Coke and he got his meeting with the Attorney General at the time. And the story goes a little bit further in the sense that he obviously wasn't satisfied with that. I thought he couldn't go any better, but he did. He then, in September of 1993, he climbed the Channel 10 transmission tower. So he's gone from 9 to 10.
He's not very inventive, this gentleman, is he?
No. So as it turned out, again, he was up there, but he was far better prepared. He wasn't going to get sunburned. He had plenty of water and he had a mobile phone so that he could make contact. So it was a 4-day activity
Oh,
of
goodness.
speaking to this gentleman over his grievance for the miscarriage of justice in his conviction and jailing. So, yeah, so as I said, that was the sort of one. And I suppose my personal benefit from that was Channel 10 took me up in their helicopter and we flew around the tower a couple of times just so I could get a clear picture of what was going on up there. So it was great to be in the chopper and see what was going on from there. So I suppose that was a relatively high profile one. A lot of them will be high profile in the sense that when someone was climbing the Story Bridge or the Gateway Bridge here in Brisbane, it would bring traffic either to a total stop or reduce things to a single lane. There'd be a lot of attention, a lot of media coverage, and a lot of inconvenience for traffic in the area. So, and probably the one of my takeaways from the Story Bridge was that we had the fire and rescue service come. They put me in one of the cherry pickers and it took me up and I climbed onto the upper part of the bridge structure and I maintained contact with the subject person and eventually talked them down and we came down together. And someone goes, Pete, how was the view up there? And I said, you know what? I never left the fella's eyes. I have no idea what it looked like up there. I'm going to have to do a bridge climb one day in order to enjoy the view.